bit long anyway.
Yay! Yay!
Woohoo!
Whoa! I didn't want to swallow it to spoil the show. Hey. Whitewash is what? There's a bit of wash on here.
Whoa.
Left, right, left. Yay! Left, right, left.
Left, right, left, right.
Very hard to sell tapes now. They're all getting into that new gear.
Oh.
On the rope after finish. That's all of it.
Oh. Oh.
How's he going? My sister.
They can't do it.
You getting around?
When is about 10 of you?
There's a lot of practice in this. I find this hard to do. This is American, see? What's Australian and this is American. Come from America. Which was introduced into Australia with the convicts, unfortunately, sadly. The bullet bell, you could hear it 4.5 miles away when the wind was blowing in the right direction. So that's about 7 kilometres. They're that big. I don't see a full-size one in there. But the big old condamine bullet bell, 7 kilometres. You could hear them when the wind was blowing in the right direction. Made that shape to make it round like a billy can and your horse bucks. It gets under your backside and you haven't got a chance. It just empties you out of the saddle. So they make it flat, just lay nice and flat on the saddle. And they also reckon that it boils quicker, made that shape. And you're often in a hurry when you're driving and that. But the trick is taking it off. Now I'm going to show you that, this trick. And through there, you pull the lid out. Okay, so this is the way you take this off the fire. Like that, see?
Right.
That's the way it takes. Now this was tourist coming, that's the way I like. The way I like that I grew up to, and that's true. I was driving with my father when I was 11 years old. He was a professional driver, never knew anything else. Didn't have a lot of education, educated himself in the light of the campfire, reading books at night. All right, now here is the D billy count. Now with all this good museum they got, I don't see any of these in here, and I had the full set when I had my own safari back in Charter Stowers. We went out of business because there's nothing to draw people, tourists in Charter Stowers, and the cost of permits and that broke the bloke I was working for, so that followed up. But I did have the other 2 billies, but they're too big to carry around my little car. In the full set was 6. The small billy. They made flags, strapping on the top of the pack horse. Okay. Now in here should be what we call a regulator. Part of steel on the pack horse, because we didn't have microwaves and electric jugs and everything in those days, so we had to have something. So, righto, now with this regulator, that hung on the tripod about up there, see? All right, now when this billy, say this billy might be cooking rice, and she's right down there now on the bottom of the fire, really boiling. Well then it's boiled and he doesn't want to burn it, but he wants to keep it warm on a cold night for the staff when they come in and have their rice with their curry, etc. So he puts it right up on the top of the regulator. Then he puts another billy down there, see? Boil. Now that might be the tea billy boiling madly. The big beef billy was standing on the fire and it's got a hook on another billy. You can put about 4 on the tripod. That was the old ways of drove. Okay. Tex Morton sold more records in Australia than any solo artist, duo or group in the world. He was so big that he could stop the traffic in Sydney to see him. He's dead now. What a great bloke. The wire up there, use a bigger fork too. Along the wire. Then you plug his head in, you put the wire around the post and tie it up and just tap the thing out with the hammer. Now this happens when the wires have been broken by a dingo back chasing a big old roo and he hits the wire, by a windstorm, or a dingo's chasing an emu, anything seems to break a wire. Now when the wires are broken, they can't get out to the neighbour's property is like an eagle. Or cross ground or something, so the boundary line of the front side of the rifle and you dazzle the roo. Now the old time roo shooters on horseback with split bags over the horse to carry the hides. They would ride around where the feed was burnt, the grass was burnt and short, and they'd spot the kangaroos feeding, they'd dazzle them with a 5-cell torch and they'd shoot them. They might shoot 7 or 8 and then they'd go back in the morning and skin them. But now they go out 40 and 50 miles in their Toyotas, dazzle the roo, shooting with a spotlight and bring all the carcasses back to town. That's the mark to hobble. This was a comfortable length to hobble. You drop one ring, the horse wasn't standing on that. It was just comfortable for him to feed around all night, branding the cart, bellowing and all that sort of thing, and you just ignore the pain and you go ahead with what you're doing. Cut a piece out of their ears and they bellow a bit more, and it's a cruel industry. Now, all right, you've got a horse that's galloping away, running away overnight. He ties 2 feet together, and that's a shin tapper. When he's galloping, that's hitting him back in the knees. See what I mean? That's what they call a shin tapper. We're doing a pretty good job. It's just so many that can't. They've got to take work jobs and string of a weekend. Nicer people. I had the blunt spur, it was gone. All the sun was let out. The riders was always wearing blunt spurs on those jobs. So which is the clearest? The sharp spurs or the blunt spurs? I'm not going to come into that argument, that's RSPCA business. That's all I can tell you. The sharp spurs saved the horse, the blunt spurs didn't. I seen one horse was saved some test times with a bit of paper. We might have got a toilet paper, we never had that, we just play without it. I'm getting a bit depraved now, I suppose, but anyway, that's the way it was. No toilet paper, a stick or a bunch of leaves or something, but anyway, what we used to have was a cloth. And we'd wrap our dinner up every day in this cloth. And after a couple of months, when it got a bit dirty and greasy, you'd wash it and give it a wash. If the cloth went in there was always a bag, split bag, 2 compartments of tea and sugar. Never had milk, it was always in his saddle bag. The quart pot that I showed you was on the other side of the horse, and the tea and sugar was in that. And when you were going all right and you went away all night from the camp, you had your dinner cut in this cloth. Now that's the saddle bag. Now I'll hand this around again because a mate of mine who made that fork actually, made that quart pot out of a milk tin. Mick Perks, he's out from Charterstown, a brilliant old man, he should be in the Stockman's Hall of Fame, but I don't know if he is. On that side is the buckle knot. No, wait a minute, that's the one. There's the buckle knot there, and on that side he put a Turk's head, that's a finish for whip handle on that. But they were all green hides, see, and you didn't have to spend money on buckles in the Depression, just pass it right around. While I'm doing the talking there, you must know we can get a bit of gold. I said, I do, Billy, but there's a lot of dirt mixed with it too. I said, if you'll do the shoveling, I'll separate the gold with a pan for you. So away we went and we camped on this spring, southeast of Charterstown, about 60 kilometres out. I said, now we've got to go to bed, Billy, because you've got to go up in daylight and start digging before it gets hot. So we're just dozing off to sleep and we hear this noise. Mopoke, mopoke, mopoke. Billy said straight up in his swag, he said, Larry, what's that? I said, Billy, I said, that's only a mopoke. I said, that's a night bird. I said, you sound a bit alarmed, but don't be frightened of him. He won't hurt you, he's a good bird. They live on snakes and frogs and mice and things like that, and rats. So go back to sleep, you've got to dig the earth up tomorrow, now go back to sleep. So we're just dozing off again, we hear this noise. Billy said straight up in his swag, he said, Larry, what's that? I said, well, I'm not too sure, Bill, but I said, the only thing I can think out, I said, I think it's that mopoke, or the morepork, the old bushman call him a morepork. I said, he's made a hole in his manners. I said, he couldn't find a frog or a rat or a snake, so he's turned cannibal and had a feed of another bird, and he's just been eating a crow. I said, but he won't hurt you. Now go back to sleep, because you won't be able to dig this earth up tomorrow. So Coke Bottle said to me, he said, Larry, look, he said, tell me this. I've been wanting to ask you all night, but I'm a bit ashamed. He said, there's no aliens around here, is there? I said, well, Bill, I said, no, I've never heard of any aliens around here. He said, oh, there's been a lot in the media about aliens lately. I said, yeah, but there's never been any aliens around here. That's way down Victoria. They've had all these UFOs and aliens. So I said, go back to sleep. So we're just getting back to sleep again. We hear this. Bill sat straight up in his face. He said, Larry, Larry, what's that? What's that? I said, look, Bill, I said, that's a dingo. I said, he's got a sniff of us at the spring. He's been coming in for a drink. He's doing the right thing. He's saying to his mates, don't go into the spring tonight, boys. There's a couple of aliens camped there. And you might get shot, you might get trapped, or you might even get poisoned. Keep away. Now go to sleep, Bill. You'll never get up. Well, okay. He goes back, just dozing off again. We hear this noise. Bill says straight up in his swag again. I said, shh, listen. Sure enough, that was down that side of the camp, way to the west of the camp. We hear this. Boo! 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 I said, Larry, what's that? I said, look, it was like this. I said, there's two scrub bulls coming in for a drink at the spring, and they got a scent of each other, and one issued a challenge to do battle, and the others accepted it. Now, I said, we're going to hear one hell of a battle here soon. Just lay down your swag, relax and listen. They won't interfere with us. It's a pity it's not a moonlight night. We'd see one hell of a fight. But we'll just hear it now. So lay down and listen. Bill said, Larry, he said, but the only thing I don't understand, what is they going to fight over here? There's nothing to fight over here. I said, well, Bill, there might be anything to fight over here for you. I said, but these bulls, this is their territory, and they're having a fight to see who's got the right to make love to all the pretty little heifers that come in here to drink at the spring. So, all right, we lay down, and next thing you can hear the clashing of horns in the darkness, trees getting knocked over, little saplings, bushes getting torn up, and every now and then a bellow like this. That was a bellow of pain when a horn connected, you see. Then in the finish we hear this. Bill said, Larry, what the hell's going on now? I said, well, it's like this, Bill. I said, that's the winner galloping away, the loser galloping away, and the winner's following him, and he's giving him a bit of horn in the behind to make sure that he doesn't come back. Bill said, Jesus, Larry doesn't like that much. I don't reckon he'll ever become a homosexual. I said, no, Bill, he doesn't sound very gay at the moment, does he? But I said, you go back to sleep. I said, you know, because you're not going to get up in the morning, fella, pick this goat up. He said, oh, Larry, he said, look, I'll never be able to get up in the morning. I said, well, I've got an idea, Bill. I said, we won't get up at daylight. We'll sleep until sunrise. That'll give you another bit extra sleep. So we just dozed off. We hardly seemed to hit the pillows, and we heard this noise all around the camp. Just as though it was synchronized. Bill got up, rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. He said, oh, Larry, he said, don't tell me those bastards are not laughing at us. Let us get out. We'll go back to Mackay and get on the drink waiting for the show. So that's when I took Billy Coke Bottle's prospects. The books are $20. If anyone wants to buy a book, it's an autographed book. Now, you don't have to. You've paid, you've had meals. And the Australian characters, the last bushranger. Now, there's been a lot of arguments about the last bushranger in Queensland. I hear on the radio they're claiming a bloke named McPherson the other day. Well, I'll argue that because the Kenneth brothers, Paddy was hung in Brisbane and Jimmy Kenneth was buried in the Charterstown Cemetery. And I took Mike Munro out there to photograph his grave because Mike Munro told me that Kenneth were his great uncles. This is a true story. One day you'll see this that Munro's working on it. Now, all right, now, but after them there was another one, a character named Gallopin Jones, who was shot off his horse by the police. Now, if that's not a bush ranger, I don't know what a bush ranger is. Now, the story of him's in that book. There's also the story of Pigeon, the native outlaw of the Kimberleys, the Leopold Ranger. Now, I'll try and say this poem for him about him for you. And it's factual, and the story's in the book. It's a real good poem. I've done it on the program, not this Ian Macron now. There was another program called Always on Sunday, and I've done that once and went over there. I don't know if my voice is going to hold up because I haven't got much voice, not like John Laws that takes more than those folks. I'm a squeaker. I'm used to a microphone, so I'll have to go up this poem because it's really good. And then, if nobody else wants, now you've all heard and read of the old Kelly boys. Young Dan in the field. Over and Mick was cunning, he shot him in the foot, they broke his ankle, he couldn't escape. And there was Queensland Charlie. They brought the trackers in from the other states. Now the pigeon outlawry has been so underplayed in Australia, it's really a disgrace. We've heard all this stuff about Geronimo and the American Indians, on and on and on and on. But Pigeon was really another Geronimo. He organised a rising for the Aboriginals against the whites, and hundreds of people lost their lives. Now, if you people are going through the Kimberleys, don't forget to check out when you get to Fitzroy Crossing in Derby, where you can see Pigeon's hideout. It's now called Tunnel Creek. In those days, it was the Cave of the Bats. And also the Geeky Gorge, which is better than the Cathline Gorge. I've been up the two of them. But what I was going to tell you, the sequel to this story, about 2 months after they took Pigeon's head in to Derby, to prove they'd got him, they cut his head off, took him into Derby, the black trackers were all given a pound of tea, a bag of sugar, a bag of potatoes, a bag of rice and something else, and that was their reward. And a pat on the back by their white brother bosses. That's a true story. You can research that, it's all in the Derby Civic Centre. A character comes to light with a marquee, 2 shillings to go and see Pigeon's head. Now, this is a true story. It's on video here, so I wouldn't be telling lies. 2 shillings to see Pigeon's head. The police moved in and arrested the bloke and he got 5 years jail. That's a true story. I'm going to finish on that. If you want to buy a book, you can buy a book from me.
Thanks, Harry. Very good.
Hey!
You've done well.